So this particular section is very interesting because what we're going to do here is to make sure that we're working with the user skill table. Remember from our past diagram, what we want to do is to make sure that this table has the list of all skills in our website or platform, and then the join table, which is the skill user, contains information that tells us which user owns which skill. So this join table is simply going to contain user ID and skill ID. So that's what we're going to do here. So but then if we split all the hashtags that are entered here, or the skills that are entered here by the user, it is possible that some may not have already been created inside the skills table. So what we're going to do is, instead of saying create straight away, we just say first or create. First or create. So this is a method in the ORM, Laravel ORM, that helps you to know when to create. So if you go to Laravel ORM, straight up, if you go to look at the URL I'm following right now, and if you get to this point, getting started, and you search for, look at where I'm searching for, first or create. So you read it up. It's simple. It just first of all checks whether something exists in the database. If it does, it will return the details of that item. If it doesn't, it will create it, then return the details. So which is what we want to do. We want to make sure that if somebody enters a new skill, for instance PHP, we want to first of all check whether PHP already exists in our skills table. If it does, then we get the details. If it doesn't, then we create it. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we're using first or create to make sure that a record with this exact item doesn't exist already, so we don't need the user ID here. So we're going to say skill, that's the name of the skill, and then the next thing we're going to do is, there is no description, so we're just going to check whether this skill name exactly exists. If it exists, okay. If not, so we're going to equate this to a variable. So we're going to say save skill or get skill. So we've got this skill. What we're going to do is now to create the second version where we have to create it in the skill user. So we can now say skill user. You remember we still have to create the model for this skill user so we can do what we want to do, but we'll just proceed. So we can say skill user. We can still use the same first or create. I'll just say create. Okay, so what we're basically creating is the first instance of we're saying user ID will be the ID of this user, because we already know the ID of this user is saved in user ID. Okay, then we are going to create the ID of this skill, so we can say skill underscore ID. This ID of this skill is whatever ID that is returned for us from here. So we have this skill ID. So we now tag this user to this skill. So what else do we have to enter into this skill as a prerequisite? So skill user ID skill, then description URL. We don't need this for now. The user can manually update. So this is enough to get us going for the skill user table. Now what we need to make sure is that we create this model, and okay, and of course add it here. So I'm going to add the skill user here, skill user model, and then I'm going to go to my command line and create it. So if I come to my command line, so from here I can say PHP raw make model skill user. So if I hit enter, it should quickly create the model we're looking for us, and the model has been created. So if we go to models, we'll see that it already exists, skill user exactly, and then the database is skill user, and then the name is skill user. The class name, then the ID, we have a user ID, skill ID, skill ID, then we have description, And that's it. And I think there is a URL to URL, and of course I don't think we need this now. Okay, so if there is any other thing we need, then we will quickly, there is a few more setups we need to do here, and then we're good to go to test our new relationship table. Okay, so let's see in the next video where we'll add the setup.